I'll go high, will you go low? How is everybody? Here we are, live on all three venues. We're excited to be with you tonight on Monday Night Live.
Yes, the best night of the week.
Yes, we're excited to be back and to be talking some more about the key, but also let me start by introducing, my name's Dean Nixon. This is Kate Semmens.
Yes, that's me.
With TurningLeaf Wellness Center in sunny St. George, Utah.
Yes, big shout out to everyone already popping in. So fun to see you guys.
Got quite a few popping in. This is great to see you.
So if you can remember last week, if you didn't catch us on our live, once again, go back to your favorite social media platform. You can find that video from last week. But we were continuing to move along our journey through the coping skills found in The Key.
Yes.
Which has been our favorite read-along for the last 8 weeks.
Yes.
Well, at least Katie's favorite read-along.
Yes. And so we are now on the 7th coping skill of the 8. So again, the 8 essential coping skills were created out of working with individuals through the years that have been struggling with not being able to deal with life, or feeling stress and anxiety, or needing something to deal with these external forces rather than substances and media and work and all the other things we use.
Right. So we've talked at length about how sometimes we think those are coping skills when really they're just avoidant tactics that tend to numb us out and like derail us a little bit usually.
Yes.
So what a coping skill actually does is help you manage your moment and move through it and progress forward in your life.
Right.
Instead of just like kind of shutting down and
numbing out,
binging on some Netflix,
disconnecting. Yeah.
There is a time and place for those other activities, but they're definitely not coping skills.
Yeah. And we've always talked about that is, and it's always about that avoidance piece. It's so easy for us to step into avoidance. It's one of the things that we as human beings have been very, very good at, is looking for comfort and working to avoid discomfort. And as a species, that's why we're sitting here. That's why I'm sitting in such a swazzy chairs tonight.
That's right, with our air conditioning going.
Super air conditioning. And it's all because of that seeking comfort, which has moved us forward as a species in a lot of ways, but it also has held us back emotionally when we're constantly looking for ways to avoid the emotional pain or discomfort that we don't want to experience. That's what leads to all the other things.
Absolutely. And I like my own little personal philosophy is we're living such a fast-paced world that oftentimes we want that quick fix, right? Like we want the magic pill. We want to just not feel whatever discomfort that we're feeling. And so we tend to really go to some of those avoidant places instead of just, especially with the skill that we're working on right now, right? Instead of sitting with ourselves.
Yeah.
And using a different skill and feeling our feelings so that we can work through them. And
another piece to that is one of the other reasons we do it, and is in addition to, is because we use this emotional discomfort as an indicator that there's something wrong.
Right.
That there's something wrong with us, or there's something wrong with our life, or there's something wrong. And so because we use that as a filter and indicator, we use it as a definer or qualifier, oftentimes we hit the eject button. We want to zone out. We want to use. We want to do other things rather than just learn to cope.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for bringing that up. That's actually a little piece in the reading that I want to get back to.
Oh,
so
good.
Remember that, because we're going to jump kind of right back into there. So like I was saying, we talked about meditation and prayer, which is our 7th coping skill. If you're following us along in The Key, if you haven't grabbed your copy yet, get it. It's on Amazon. Just look for Dean Nixon.
Yeah,
and Lee Kelly,
Dean
right?
Nixon.
Yep.
Yeah, you can either Google either one. But if you type it in, Dean Nixon on Amazon, Amazon Prime, any of those, it'll bring up The Key and also the 4 Steps to Confidence, and which is the other book that we use in working with individuals, which also helps.
Yeah.
And both of those books you can buy on Amazon.
So if you haven't grabbed yours, get it and join us along in our cool little read-along. But last week we started talking about meditation and prayer, and we ran out of time.
We did.
Who knew that we could just talk for that long?
I think everybody watching.
I think you guys know.
I think everybody watching has got that down.
right? So I personally was not feeling satisfied enough with our conversation on meditation and prayer. So even Dean at the end of it said, well, we'll wrap it up again next week.
Part
two, here we are. Because I think this is a really big deal, this meditation and prayer piece, especially when it comes to creating harmony and that inner peace that we're always striving for. I think it's really interesting talking just about avoidance tactics and things like that. Oftentimes working with people, and I know me myself in my own life, it's really easy to start looking externally to try to feel better or fix whatever you think is going wrong, like Dean was just saying, right? When really the key is to go internal.
Right.
And to really just sit with you and do some soul searching, which is meditation is a perfect place to start with that.
Very much so. We've got to use the mindfulness tools to reprogram ourselves. And that's the thing that people have to remember, is that there's a subconscious state, there's a subconscious piece of who we are that we are constantly programming every day. And in prior lives, in prior videos that you can go back and watch, we talked a lot about how we have the three levels. We have the alpha, which is the one that we're in right now, the beta, which is the one that is the dialogue, that voice in our head that's commenting on everything, and then we have the delta, which is the dream state and the subconscious state. And that is the state in which everything functions. That's where your heartbeat is, your breathing. That's the one that when you take a task or a skill like driving or tying your shoes, it starts there. But once you master it, it becomes a delta activity. Well, the problem is this is consistently being written. This is consistently being programmed, and it's being programmed up here and here in alpha and beta. And it's all being programmed out of fear and traumas, experiences, embarrassment, hurts, pains, but also out of joy and out of pleasure and out of learning and out of support and all of the other great things. Everything. And so as that is happening, there's a lot of programming down here that causes us to all of a sudden I feel very scared all the time, and I'm anxious all the time. And a lot of it is because up here I've trained myself to believe I'm not safe. I'm trained myself to believe that I have to be a certain person or a certain way. And so subconsciously underneath there, I'm reading these cues that are telling me, hey, you're not okay, this is inappropriate, or you're not safe, and that's where the stress, that's where the anxiety, that's where all these things are coming from. So what do? We reprogram. And the way to reprogram is through meditation and mindfulness.
I was reading something on meditation this last week, and I don't remember where it is, so I can't attribute you, whoever you are, I can't give you attribution, but they were saying that when we consistently meditate and make that a part of our life and our practice, and I love that we call those things practices, right? Like meditation, yoga, all those types of things, because it's like a lifelong journey. And I love that it's a practice, so you don't ever have to feel like you have to get it right on, because I struggle, everyone knows that. But how it literally does rewire the neural connections in our mind, like you were just saying, like you're creating a new pathway, which how amazing is that? It's
very amazing when we think about it. And with my mother passed away from Alzheimer's, one of the most amazing women, and I wish all of you could have met her. She was the best of us. And my mother's Alzheimer's, when it was taking over, it was taking a lot of the neural pathways. It was taking a lot of the synapses. It was taking a lot of things, which is what happens with Alzheimer's. So the thing that was intriguing to me about it was when they were teaching us about that. And I really learned at the time, way back when, we believed that the brain was what you got when it's set up like concrete was the way it was. Well, now we're finding that it's still very plastic and it's still very teachable. And that people that have lost hearing, the brain has found a way to rewire itself so people's hearing can come back, mobility can come back, and all sorts of amazing things. Well, when we are constantly in and this is the part that I don't want to belabor it too long so we run out of time again, but this is the important part, is every day, as we were talking last week, every day we meditate. We don't realize it. We're daydreaming. We're driving down the road and we're meditating. And as you were bringing up last week, Sometimes we're meditating about really cool things,
Mm-hmm.
but the majority of the time we're meditating and awfulizing. We are meditating on all the things that should have been done, or all the things that could have happened, or meditating on conversations we had in the past. And so we're programming. That's where we're programming. We're down here programming ourselves to be scared, to be anxious, to be, to feel a certain way. And if I'm in that state constantly in a negative way, I'm creating a pathway to negative thinking.
That makes so much sense.
And if I'm meditating in a positive way, I'm creating positive neural pathways.
Mm-hmm. You did not do this on purpose, but I'm a junkie for psychology, and you went negative on the left side, which just like all your logic, analytical, and positive on the creative side.
Yes. And that is I know it is probably a subconscious piece, but that is very true.
That's where my
the
heart
right
lies.
brain, left brain. Yes.
That's funny.
So in that, going into the second part of the meditation and prayer, this is where Isaac is really learning about through his experience and learning with Gage how to meditate, how to focus the mind, how to really flow with life and flow with things.
So let's jump into the book then.
Okay.
So once again, if you have your own copy, I'm on page 88 tonight. And so Isaac's having this conversation with Gage at this point. If you could remember from last week, we talked about his experience in the meditation garden, where he was finally able to kind of quiet his mind down and experience some of the benefit from meditation, where he kind of really struggled, like most of us do when we first start this practice, right, of meditation.
Right.
We're going to struggle because it's going to be different and new. For me, I love that you called that second beta. Is that what you called it?
The beta.
The beta. In my mind, when you said that, I said, oh yeah, the heckler, because that's what it is in my mind. Like, it's just like this constant chatter, right?
Yes.
So Isaac similarly struggled with that. So he's having a conversation with Gage here, and Gage tells him, I told you I went through some tough stuff. We all do, some more than others, but the point is that life will always be there to present challenges and problems. I can see now that I needed those things in order to move forward, and instead of problems, I now see them as opportunity. My higher power was watching over me the whole time, allowing me to keep learning and growing. For me, I couldn't see any of this until I got into meditation and prayer. So he says, until I connected with the mysterious intelligent force that created all of this. And then he pointed out to the ocean. Right. But basically, that's all of this. Like, whatever you believe in your higher power or whatever, we're not here to, exactly. We're not here to tell you how to believe or what to believe in. Everyone has a very personal journey with that. But I love that Gage brought this out, which is exactly what we were talking about. And this practice, this piece, this coping skill can really help you move through a lot of those things.
Right.
So to continue on, he says, when that negative voice in my head wouldn't stop and the past would haunt me, I had to turn it over to someone. By seeking gratitude for all the blessings in my life, I switched up the energy flow and pulled away from such strong anger and resentment, not just at others, but at myself. And he says, if you think that all of this is a coincidence, then I think you're missing the bigger picture. There are no accidents. You were meant to struggle and fall down so you could humble yourself and to start to seek the answers. And then he goes into an analogy about the key, which is really awesome. So you should just go and read it. Oh, cliffhanger. What? But I love that because as I have struggled and started in my own meditation practice, I'm feeling like exactly what Gage describes here is all those pieces that this coping skill really does help you move through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in the book, it talks about a few different meditation tactics, which we wanted to go over with you last week and ran out of time. So can we jump there now, Dean?
Yes.
Okay. So where's your malas?
They're right down here in
a minute.
Actually, there's some right here in my desk. Okay. We'll grab these. Yeah. So there is the form of meditation. There's different types of meditation. One of the things that we have to remember is we've talked about it in other lives, is meditation doesn't have to be the sitting down in formal lotus position. and chanting. However, it does help, and that is a very powerful way. Sometimes meditation can be a simple 5-minute process. It could be a 2-hour process.
That's what I did this morning.
And it's
Literally
different
5
for
minutes.
everybody. And I will tell you, when I first started meditating, I, for probably about 2 years, thought I was doing it wrong. And everything I was reading, everything I was studying, everybody who was mentoring me through it was like telling me, no, you're not doing it wrong. This is a part of the process and a part of the journey. Now I can look back and I can see that it was a process, just like with anything, of developing a tool, but also finding my path with meditation. So for myself, I'm sorry,
I'm going to cut you off because I really like that, because everybody's path for their own meditation progress is going to be different. Like what works for you might not work for me, right?
Right.
So I think that's beautiful. So
It's
I just
very
wanted
true.
to point that out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Startled me. But for myself, I'm a thinker. I'm constantly having conversations and thoughts in my head. And I have people in my life that will have conversations with me, and then they'll be like, now you realize you didn't respond to that. And I'm like, oh man, in my head I did. In my head, I fully responded to what you're saying, but I didn't say it out loud. And so as a consequence of that being in my head, meditating oftentimes is hard. So I have to work to pull myself out. This is where the mala or meditation beads come in. And the mala beads can come in different forms. This is one of my sets of malas. They have 108 beads that go all the way around. And as you go around, these are just counters. They help count how many times you go around in a meditation. These are for a long meditation. And then there is the set of my mala beads that you talked about last week.
Yep,
a reference.
on the cover.
This is my other set of mala beads I showed you last week. And again, there's 108 of them with the stones in the middle of the break stones for taking deep breaths. So, and then I also carry the mala beads that I carry around my wrist. And each of them is a way for me to slow down counting the beads. But as you're going through the bead, you're using a word. So as I'm moving the beads through my finger, each time I move them through my finger, I'm using a word or a chant or mantra that helps me slow down, and I'm focusing. So as I meditate, it helps because it draws me to my hand. It pulls me out of my head. So I'm doing something physical. But then it also helps me because I'm saying the same word over and over, and it keeps me dialed into what I'm wanting to create. Now, there are those out there that mala beads are distracting, or things outside are distracting. They need more of a visual guided meditation. Sometimes you can find those online, and those can be very, very beneficial as well. And those guided meditations, there's a lot of apps out there that you can do that with as well.
YouTube even has tons of them.
But my challenge to you, the first thing that I would encourage you to do when it comes to meditation, the simplest meditation, is do this. So all our viewers, if you will take a challenge from me for the week, and this is my challenge, 5-minute challenge. That's all it is. 5 minutes for the next 5 days. 5 minutes for 5 days. So every day for 5 minutes, I want you to just slow down. I want you to get in a comfortable position, whether you're driving somewhere or whether you're seated in lotus position or whether you're just in your chair at your office or waiting for the kids to come out during,
swim lessons,
getting out of swim lessons. And some of you that may still have kids in school, because I know some places are still in school. What I want you to do is I want you to focus for 5 minutes, just focus on your breath. And I want you to take a deep breath in and just take it in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you do that 3 times. Start with 3 cleansing breaths. And then from there forward, I just want you to feel the rise and fall of your chest. Now, what's going to happen is as soon as you start to tune into that, it's going to immediately grab you. But then all of the beta is going to start chattering.
Yes, it is.
Right? All the beta is going to come in and go, hey, wait a minute. Did you change the laundry? Did you file that report? Hey, did you call
I wonder
Bob
how many
back?
minutes it's been.
how many minutes it's been. And I only said Bob because I saw my friend Bob Savage is watching.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob. So it's going to, did I phone Bob? So all of those things are going to be chattering. So that's okay. You just take a deep breath and allow it, and you refocus back into the meditation. So every time something pulls you out, you say, that's okay. You don't have to resist it. You don't have to try and force it to stop. You don't have to go, oh, stop doing that. Just don't get mad. You just take a deep breath. And again, follow your breathing and feel the breathing. And do that for 5 minutes for 5 days. And I guarantee that you will feel a change. You will feel a shift in your energy. And please comment on our video.
Oh,
Find the video,
we'd
comment.
love to hear about it.
And if you go, in 5 days I did that, Dean, and nothing happened,
all
let
I
me know.
lost was 25 minutes.
That's true. For those that can do math. So rub that in. Okay.
Left brainers.
So I want to challenge you with that. I want you to just really I want to challenge you with that meditation piece and just focus on that for 5 minutes. And if you find really good results in that, then keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep doing it. If you need more help, if you're like, hey, I want to learn more, or I need more on that, then come in and let us help you here. Phone in, Skype, phone, whatever it is that you need to do. The other thing that we've been adding, which has been an amazing tool, is we've been adding the hyperbaric meditation.
I was just going to tell them about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Well, so we have this, I call it the space pod because that's what it looks like.
The
You can go.
lunar lander.
Yes, that's right, the lunar lander. We've got pictures and stuff both on Instagram and on Facebook if you want to see what the machine actually looks like. But it's pretty cool. So it has lots of really amazing health benefits. And then in one of our marketing meetings, Dean was like, bing, we should couple this with meditation. And so that is what we're going to start doing. So
and it's really working. That's the thing, is it's benefiting. And that's where I started realizing is I have clients that they're going in, they're doing the hyperbaric for an hour, then they're coming in and sitting down and we're getting to work. And I'm seeing a difference in my clients once they're coming out. And that's why I'm like, we need to couple these two together.
Yeah.
We need to do this. And even if you're just wanting to come in and just do the hyperbaric alone, we've got that going right now. It's 4 hyperbaric sessions for $100, and you come in for 45-minute sessions. And it's very, very powerful. We give you meditations that you can listen to if you don't have some. But it is making a huge difference. I'm seeing the shift in my clients and in their work, their ability to relax, to be able to come in focused. They're seeing a lot of different benefits. So as we are again over time,
I just think it's cool because the hyperbaric does so much for you physically.
Yes.
And it gives that perfect opportunity because all you're doing is sitting in there getting all these wonderful health benefits. Might as well couple that with your internal mind, right?
Yeah.
And meditation. I just think it's so cool.
Yes.
I'm going to do it this week. So I'll
Yes.
check back with you guys and let you know how it went.
Let you know.
Yep.
Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in.
Yes. Just shout out Jill Morrison. You guys are so sweet. Hi,
Yes.
Vicki. Christine Chamberlain says both of those books are amazing. Thanks, Christine. You're amazing, by the way. Rosemarie, hello. You guys are just awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
TJ.
Yeah, thanks, TJ.
Tara Lynn.
Hi, guys.
Hello, all of you. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you again next Monday, but please, in the process, like and share our videos. If you are on Instagram, you can always find our videos through YouTube and go to our TurningLeaf Wellness Center YouTube after the live or the
after it goes away off of the 24 hours
into the magic.
Right. And let us know. Take us up on that 5 for 5 challenge. Let us know how it goes for you.
All right. For you.
Have a wonderful week.
See you next Monday night.
Bye.
Good night.